Hey Megamaniacs, you got Mr. MegaManFan here with a mega mail call. Got a bunch of different packages that all came in the mail, so I'm going to open them and we're going to see what I got in each one of them. Starting with this one from Target, which has a Banjo-Kazooie amiibo inside. Now, I was supposed to get this a couple of weeks ago. I pre-ordered all three of the amiibos in this wave at the same time. But Target, for whatever reason, was back ordered on it, and they forced me to accept delayed shipping for 2 weeks. So not only did I get screwed out of the Amiibo Sanrio Hello Kitty cards for Animal Crossing, thanks to the fact that they just let people walk in while their website was crashed, I also got this 2 weeks late on top of that. Shipping was free though, so that's one thing I'll give them. Next up on the list, speaking of free shipping, not only if you have Amazon Prime, was this brand new controller. Now, I did not get a Super Nintendo controller when I got my Super NT, so I thought, might as well give this one a try, since it also has the SNES style dongle on it. At first I was a little concerned when I saw it was Bluetooth and not 2.4 gigahertz, but then I did a little bit of research, checked around online, and as it turns out, Bluetooth is in the 2.4 gigahertz range. It's a proprietary standard that people license, but it's 2.4 gigahertz. It's just a very specific receiver and adapter combination for Bluetooth enabled devices. So really, Bluetooth is 2.4 gigahertz, but 2.4 gigahertz is not Bluetooth. It's like one of those bourbon is whiskey, but whiskey isn't bourbon type things. Finally, we have this package from Japan, from one of my favorite Japanese sellers, Japan for You. And the reason I like them so much is because they charge $17 flat for FedEx, but they ship it air, and it gets to you in less than a week. And once you pay that flat 17, every individual item on top of that is by weight. So if you get a Nintendo game, it's like 29 cents for a Famicom game, 29 cents for a Super Famicom game, 19 cents for a capsule figure. You see how it becomes a great value. If you order more than 10 items, the shipping ends up only being like $1, $1.25, $1.40 each. Here's Mineseeker for Famicom, which I chose strictly because of the name and the fact that it was only $1. I like to experiment with Famicom games. This one wasn't $1. This is Armadillo, a somewhat famous platformer among retro enthusiasts, especially due to the fact it never came out in the United States. Here also is Karateka, which came out on a lot of platforms back in the 1980s, but never got a North American release as far as I'm aware, and this too was $1. A lot of these ones that I picked up were $1, and some of the others weren't, but when you add the ones that were and the ones that weren't and combo up the shipping, it turns into a very good value overall. Star Luster was another $1 title that I picked up just because of the name Star Luster. Could be a shooter, could be a strategy game. I'm leaning towards shooter based on the name, but we'll find out soon enough. Last but not least, out of this set of Famicom games is another rather famous platformer among retro enthusiasts. This one is called YY World 2, and it features a lot of characters from Konami franchises combined together into one game, which has made it somewhat collectible and hard to find, especially since it's Japan exclusive and got released later than some of the other Famicom games. So the big hitters here are Armadillo and YY World 2, but I'm looking forward to all of them. I also got 4 Super Famicom games, once again taking advantage of that combined shipping, since once you add on individual items, it's really not that much more expensive than paying $17 for just one item. So combo up your orders. Wait until you have enough things that you want to make it worthwhile, and then do it all in one shot. There is indeed one of these four in particular that made it worth shooting that shot. You'll see it in just a moment. I'll go through them one at a time, starting with, see which one I pulled out here. Ah, yes. This is Magical Taruto-kun Magic Adventure. It may be completely inscrutable, it may be totally in Japanese, but for $1 I took the chance on it. This one should be fine whether or not I can understand everything because it's a platformer. It's called Super Wagon Land, a long-running series that also has several entries on Famicom and I believe other platforms as well. Elfaria is a role-playing, I think it might also be a real-time strategy or a turn-based strategy game. So if I can patch it, I can probably play it, and I'll be able to dump it once I get my Super NT anyway, so that won't be a problem. Here's the big hitter I was talking about. It's a loose cartridge, but I didn't have Rockman X3, I only had Rockman X and Rockman X2, so even a loose cartridge is preferable to none at all. And let me just say, if you don't have Rockman X3 or MegaMan X3, get this one and modify your Super Nintendo or use it on your Super NT, because Rockman X3 is way, and I mean way more affordable than its North American counterpart. And that one had such a nice pristine label, I thought it was well worth the insignificant amount of money that was being asked for it. Got two more Lucy's in here. One is a Hue card, one is a Game Boy game, and the Game Boy game is, well, the label isn't perfect. There's some staining on the front as well, but I considered it worthwhile. First up, though, is Fire Pro Combination Tag Wrestling for PC Engine. I had Fire Pro Wrestling X also as a loose card, but not this one, and it was only $1. So once again, for that price, you can't go wrong, especially since I have both a Hue card converter from PC Engine to TurboGrafx 16, and I also have the SSD 3, so I can play it either way. I can play a dump or I can play the real thing. Here's Rockman World. Once again, I had some of the other games. I had Rockman World 2 and Rockman World 3, but not the first Rockman World. And I think that front side can probably be cleaned off. I'm not sure what stained it that way, but I can probably just use a little elbow grease and make that look nicer. And speaking of all things Mega Man or Rockman, he also had some capsule figures for display, and I took a chance on 3 of them because they were only $1 each, so once again, why not? I'm sure it would cost at least 100 yen to get a capsule out of a machine. Could always ask Saramaru about that because he's been to Japan several times and even got me a capsule papyrus keychain from Undertale while he was there. I paid him back for it, of course. He already had some other stuff he was going to send me, so it just made sense, once again, to combo up. Big shout out to Saramaru, hashtag SaruCrew. And let's take a look at these capsule figures. First, we've got a Mega Man X, all in blue. You'll notice that's a particular feature of this capsule set is they are obviously cut from one mold at the same time because they're all just one color, but I thought it looked pretty nice detail on it. We also have a Mega Man that's all yellow, and it looks like he's shooting his arm cannon straight into the sky. Maybe there's something swooping down overhead to get him, but he's got a very determined look on his face. He's going to shoot down whatever it is. You go, Rock. You get that flying monster. It's yours. Take it down. And we have one more of X, who's also got a supremely determined look on his face, and that arm cannon is just cocked and loaded. He's aiming it very specifically by holding his arm as he prepares to fire. So I thought these 3, for what they were for only $1 each, were definitely worth adding on. Also, not shipped in the mail, but picked up at a local Dave & Buster's, some new Star Trek cards. I've been trying to go for complete sets and getting really close now on both the limited edition cards and the regular cards. I was only missing one from each of these sets for the original Star Trek characters, and so my wife and I hit the coin pusher. She did a fantastic job, got a lot of cards out of the machine, including what I believe, from what I've seen anyway, is the hardest to get of the regular set, which means it's probably stupidly hard to get in the limited edition. You'll see it coming up here in a second. Uhuru as a limited edition was my best pickup. I managed to get that on one of my first drops, but her coin pusher run was far more spectacular than mine. See the Tribbles card? This is the first time I've ever gotten a Tribbles card, or she's ever gotten a Tribbles card. She was the one who won it with her double shots. She got really good at aiming right in the corner and pushing the pile, so I trust her when it comes to coin pusher games. She is fantastic at them. So now the regular edition set for original Star Trek is complete, and we are one away from the limited edition set. And with the extras, including all those blue and orange tokens that drop when you're playing the coin pusher, had enough tickets left to get a nice Meowth, who has always been my favorite character from the original Pokemon animated series. Jesse and James, Team Rocket blasting off at the speed of light. Meowth, that's right! I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Thanks for watching.